What is up, my dudes? Welcome back to Avenged Media. We have a great video in store today. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun for you guys and probably a little less fun for myself because I have to finally come to terms with the fact that I have a part hoarding problem. Before we get into it, if you're new here, my name is Nick, this is Avenged Media, and behind me is my 1998 240SX Koki S14. Now I picked this up a couple months ago and I've been slowly working on restoring the interior on this car, but it is finally time to start working on the exterior, and I have a whole stack of parts to share with you guys. So if you're not already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We have a ton of S14 content coming up and I'd love to make sure you guys don't miss that. So these are all the parts that I've been hoarding for the 240. Like I said, we have every body panel that is removable for this car. We've got rear bumper, front bumper, literally brand new OEM metal Koki fenders for both sides, new hood, core support, headlights, corner lights, turn signals, grille, some Nismo parts, and the holy grail. I think what we need to do is just go ahead and start opening up some of this stuff and showing you guys what we have. There is a lot going on behind me, but I'm gonna walk you guys through it real quick and take a look at all of these awesome parts. Once again, from OEM Parts Specialties, you know the deal, Avenged 10. Click the link down in the description. All the Nissan parts you'll ever need. Let's take a look. All right, so starting over here, we've got front and rear bumpers. These are both the JDM Koki style bumper. So it's got this little lip on it in the back compared to the USDM one. And then the front bumper is quite a bit different than the USDM one as well. Now these are what I am really excited about. We got a brand new OEM metal fender for the passenger side and the driver's side. I'm told these were the last ones in the country in box. When I got them, they've since been discontinued, so these are like worth their weight in gold. I am like more nervous holding these than like a newborn child. Got all of our lights down here. This is absolutely nuts. Brand new glass, Koki projectors, clear corners, and we've got the amber turn signals. I do like the amber turn signals for this car because the car is gonna be black, so I feel like having that little bit of contrast looks super good. Really excited about those. Brand new core support back here. Gonna have that all replaced with an OEM Nissan part. Got the hood in the box, obviously. I didn't want to pull that out by myself and risk damaging it, but this is what I'm really excited about. This was the only part that I couldn't get from OEM Parts Specialties because this part has been discontinued for a long time. This is a brand new in-box JDM Koki wing with the primer still on it from Nissan. This thing has never been put on a car. It comes with all the gaskets, the hardware, literally the little like brand new nuts. They go on the end of the post here. Like this is like holy grail stuff. I was so excited when this showed up. And then we've got the grille over here. So nice mesh grille. This is a Nismo rear strut bar. It's like the anodized red with the black bar that will go across the rear. I gotta decide how I wanna do this because it does involve cutting up the rear trim piece back there. And I'm trying to decide if I wanna do that. So we'll see, but we've got that. And then the JDM rain visors that go above the top of the window here. So those are some cool extra parts we have as well. So the whole goal with the exterior of this car is to have like an OEM complete restoration, like as if this car was coming off the assembly line in 2022. New everything. So that's kind of the goal with the exterior of the car. We're gonna have like a few aftermarket things, you know, there's like spats and you know, that kind of stuff. Want to do some different mirrors on the car, but overall I want it to be like a very stock looking like JDM S14. But today, before we dive too much into what I'm gonna do for an engine in this car, talk about suspension, all that kind of stuff, I'm dying to see what this looks like on the car. Like, I love the look of this wing, and I just need to know what it looks like on the car. So we're gonna throw the wing on and the rear bumper on, along with the Koki taillights that we sourced already. Like, I just need to know what all that's gonna look like together back here, because it looks so good. This is unreal. I cannot believe how good that all looks. I mean, obviously it's like all Koki, so it's like meant to be paired together, but my God. So you guys are getting a pretty good idea of how I'm trying to go about the exterior of the car. Really OEM plus, and just making it look as nice as possible with my favorite OEM pieces. A lot of Japanese, like Sylvia parts. And for the interior, we kind of went the same way. Just like I was saying, real OEM plus. We did this interior restoration on the last few videos here, so if you haven't watched those, I will link those in the corner up above, but this interior just turned out absolutely insane. And for now, we're running the stock Koki seats. Down the road, I may switch to something like a Recaro SR3 with the confetti pattern, you know, and still keep a lot of the OEM-ness of this car, but maybe we'll have some upgrades down the road. But for now, we're gonna rock with these seats. I actually have really come to like them and think they look good in the car, and I'm stoked that I found a set in that good a condition. And I went ahead and threw the corner marker in there, but you guys get an idea, like I was saying, by keeping this car black, having that little bit of orange contrast up there, I just think looks really, really good. But again, I really prefer the look of the JDM bumper to the USDM Koki bumper. It's just got a nice aggressive look to it. And especially once you put a little lip down there on the bottom, it's just, chef's kiss. So I went ahead and set the bumper down here. There's nothing for the bumper to stay on the car, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what that's gonna look like in case you haven't seen this bumper before. But love the style of that. I went and threw one of the new fenders on. It's so nice to see like a perfect fender on this car, because the ones that were on it were a little crunched up. These aren't the wheels that are gonna be on the car, but it just gives you an idea of what it's gonna look like when it has a proper set of wheels and tires on the car. And it's good, boys. It's a good thing, that's for sure. Fender's not fitting like fully properly, but got new hardware. This thing is just, oh, it's perfect. I can't wait to see the whole front end of the car put together. All right, now let's talk engine for this car. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the S chassis is probably one of the most swappable cars in the sense that there is so much aftermarket support for a wide variety of engine platforms. And I've thought for a really long time about what engine I want to put in this car, and I just keep coming back to an SR20. It just seems right. I really debated a K24 turbo for a really long time because that swap looks super enticing. It's an inline 4, you can put a turbo on it, like it would look right at home, the weight distribution, and all that would be perfect in this car. I'm just not 100% convinced that that is the most streetable swap at this point. I've seen a handful of these cars with K24s in them, and they're all typically drift cars or time attack cars. And from what I've read, there's a little bit of vibration that you get with that swap, just due to the harmonics of it and everything, that make it a little bit less drivable. And I want this car to be a total street monster. I'm never gonna track this car, I'm never gonna drift this car. I mean, not more than just like for fun here and there. Like, it's never gonna be a purpose-built race car. This is a car that I wanna be able to take out and enjoy on the weekends. And for that reason, I really just think the SR20 makes the most sense in this car. And it's what came in the car in Japan. It's correct to the chassis. I've never experienced an SR, and I think it's time. So if you've been watching this build, you know that I bought this car as a rolling shell. There was no engine or transmission in this car. Now it does have the fuse box, all of our brake system, you know, subframes there, like a lot of the external components are there, but no engine. So like I said, I'm gonna do an SR20 in this car. It just makes the most sense for what I want this car to be, and for the people that like really appreciate these chassis. I think SR20 is just the move. I hope I'm not shooting myself in the foot and gonna run into a bunch of issues with SRs, but I've talked to a handful of people that know enough about them that I feel comfortable tackling this and confident that it's the right motor for this car. Now, before we can do anything with the motor, we gotta deal with this core support. This thing is just too bent in, like it was crazy. When I held the headlight up to it the other day and had the headlight in the fender here where it should go, there's a really, like, probably an inch or so gap, actually probably more than that this has been pushed back. So before we can fit anything in here, this needs to get taken care of. So my order of operations with this is, I wanna paint the whole car, and I wanna paint the engine bay, but I wanna make sure everything fits in the engine bay and all the fabrication is done before we go to paint. That way, when we go to drop the motor in, it's completely perfect. So I think the best plan of attack here is get the core support fixed, and then we're gonna fit an engine into the car, get it running, and we'll pull it all out. And at that point, we'll paint the bay with the rest of the car so it can be all done at once. And my plan is to do the entire car and engine bay in the black. I forget, it's like KH3, I think is the color code that's correct for this. I may do a different color black, but it'll be a Nissan black for sure, but most likely the OEM color, just because that's what this car deserves. All right, next up, let's talk about suspension and underneath the car. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this thing up in the air. We'll walk under there and I'll walk you guys through the full plan of what I wanna do for the suspension of this car and how I wanna entirely restore the bottom of the car. All right, let's dive into the underside of this beast. So if you watched the intro video of this car, you know the underside of this car is in pretty good shape. It's got pretty straight frame rails. The pinch welds aren't all that jacked up. It's a really clean canvas to start with. So my goal for the entire underside of this car is I want to use a undercoating on the whole underside in the wheel wells and get all of that sealed up, looking nice and black. And then from there, we'll layer all new parts on top of it. That's gonna involve rebuilding kind of both the subframes. I wanna get front and rear powder coated, and we're gonna do that in black, of course. The previous owner did paint this one silver, so we'll go powder coat over that, but it's already got some reinforcement on it as well. It was welded in, so we got a good subframe to work with there. It's got all new polyurethane bushings in it already, so we'll pop those out and reuse them, but I want to fully restore the bottom side of this car. Now the biggest obstacle we have to deal with is this here, unfortunately. Like I showed you guys earlier in this video, someone jacked up the spare tire well and completely fucked that sheet metal. And unfortunately, that's gonna be a pretty expensive repair to make, but I was lucky enough to find this guy over here, which is the back half of a completely clean S14. It was like entirely stock until it was totaled out in an accident. And we're gonna steal the sheet metal from it. So we've got a replacement there. It will be factory perfect. And I have a super talented body guy who's gonna take care of that. And I fully trust that it'll be just as good as it was from the factory. So as far as arms on this car, every suspension bit on this car is gonna be replaced. So my plan is, and I'd love to hear if anyone has any feedback on what I should do here. My thought was to do all of the Nismo arms because I can get them through OEM Part Specialties. And they make literally every arm for this car. They're a very similar silver color to this, which is why the previous owner had painted it this color. I think the contrast between silver and black would look a little better personally, so I'm gonna do that. So at this point, my plan is to do all of the Nismo arms. I wanna do a 350Z rear diff and axles because those axles are much stronger. And then we'll be doing a coilover setup on this car as well. I've worked with Fortunato before for the wagon. You guys will be seeing those go on here shortly if you're looking forward to some wagon content. And I would love to work with them again on this car. So hopefully a set of Fortunatos, either the 500s or 510s for this car. And then, you know, we're gonna do a big brake kit. Like I said, these aren't the wheels that are going on the car. I just wanna see what a nice set of wheels and tires look like on the car. But there is a baller Nismo big brake setup for the 350Z that you can make fit on these chassis. And that's my plan for this thing. Power steering rack is definitely gonna need to be rebuilt. So we're gonna get that rebuilt when this subframe comes out for powder coat. Wanna do the Nismo power brace up here. So that's these pieces here. And then there's a bar that runs across the Nismo one to make it a little bit more rigid. So that'll match all of the suspension arms. I think that pretty much covers kind of what I have planned for the bottom side of the car. I need to decide what I wanna do with all of the lines that run here. I'd like to reuse these. Hopefully they're all in good enough shape that when we take them off the car, we can just put them back on once the undercoating is all done. So I definitely have my work cut out for me with this build. This is by far the most intensive build that I've ever done, and I'm hoping to use this chassis to learn a lot of things that I haven't taught myself or been exposed to in my years of working on cars. So this will be the first time that I've had a car that I can afford to just let sit, that it's not, you know, when I was doing all the engine stuff on my Subaru, it was my daily driver. I had to get it back together as quickly as possible so that I wasn't without a car. And I've never touched the motor on the 350Z. So this is gonna be my chance to really like get into engine building, better understand internal combustion engines, and kind of dive headfirst into that. So that was a huge reason for getting this car in the first place, was the learning opportunity that came with it. So I have a huge hill to climb in terms of learning everything I need to know to actually build this car. And I'm gonna have to hustle my ass off to be able to afford this, but this is truly a dream project of mine. I think it's already on such a good path with all of the OEM goodies that I've found for it so far, with the support from OEM Part Specialties, some of the stuff that I've scored off Facebook Marketplace, the interior, the Koki taillights that I found. Like, everything is coming together perfectly, and I cannot wait to see how this car looks when it's all done and enjoy it whenever that may be. Now, with all that being said, I hope you guys are super excited about this build. I would love to hear your feedback on what you think about what you put in SR20 in this car. I forgot to mention earlier, my goal is probably somewhere between 350 and 450 horsepower. I know that's a wide window. I need to do a little more research to see kind of what's attainable, what's safe. But even at 350 horsepower to the wheel, this car would be an absolute blast. So let me know what you think of my choice of engine. And the other thing that I'm curious about is which transmission I should put in this car. I know the CD009 that comes in a 350Z is a super popular swap, and I absolutely love how that transmission feels in my Z. But it's such a big transmission that it requires a lot of modification to the transmission tunnel to fit it in this car, and it sits so low that I'd be worried about scraping it wherever I go. So I know the ZF, like I think the 5-speeds from the BMW are a really popular choice, but if you guys have any experience in this area, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what transmission you guys would recommend, and I hope you guys are getting super stoked for this build. This is gonna be a good one, and by the time we're done with it, I think this will be one of the cars that like the channel is known for, in addition to the Legacy GT. But here it is, guys. We got a long road ahead of us. That's kind of my rough build plan for building what I consider the ultimate 240SX, the ultimate Koki, whatever you want to call it. This car is going to be something special. So until next time, peace out, and I'll see you guys soon.